We're here with Stevens Institute of Technology head men's soccer coach Dale Jordan and assistant coach Chris Koch, along with student athletes Justin Cross and Bruno Andino, after the Ducks advanced over Johns Hopkins on penalties to reach the national semifinals. Coach, an opening statement.
I keep saying the word incredible, but it's fitting. Just an outstanding group of student athletes, and another weekend where we've had to go deep into the roster. We've had to dig really deep. Make no mistake, Johns Hopkins are elite. They are absolutely fantastic. We've not faced, in my time I've not faced a team that's as technically proficient, which gives you so many tactical problems from on the attacking side of the ball. We knew it was going to be a super difficult game, but the way Coach Craig sets his teams up is absolutely incredible. He's one of the best out there. Someone that I look up to both when I'm trying to construct teams and how he recruits and how he conducts himself. He's absolutely top class. But absolutely all credit to our guys. They fought and they worked so hard to try stay in it. There's very few teams that I think go 1-0 down against a group like that and respond the way that we did, by attacking, by moving the ball quickly, playing our brand of football. So again, it's incredible. Immensely proud of our student athletes, immensely proud of the athletic staff and everyone who's these last 2 weekends have been incredible. The fans that are out there cheering, every single kick of the ball has been incredible, so we thank you so much for that.
Coach, let's stay with you talk about going down 1-0. We'll get there in a second, but what were the first 45 minutes like? It was scoreless. You really a lot of position battles, a couple of chances, but it was like Hopkins being a little more assertive. What was going on in that first half, and then what did the team do to get settled after halftime?
Yeah, they play their football, which is always difficult to play against. They're going to possess. They value possession. Their midfield, centre midfield rotations are incredible. Very difficult to manage. So we knew that was going to come. We knew that they're trying to dismantle you. They're trying to stretch you and make it difficult. So I think our aim in the first 5 minutes was to limit that as much as possible. I wouldn't say we settled ourselves down after half time. I think the goal, in a very bizarre way, kind of alleviated stress for us, because I think then the guys played with no fear after that. I think the start of the second half there was maybe an element of fear, and there was a lot of what ifs, but I think their goal actually helped us gain a little bit of momentum. And then after that it was very back and forth. We had great chances, they had great chances, lots of great countering. Obviously day two, a lot of fatigue, mistakes, so it was a super exciting game of soccer. Elite Eight, that something like that is definitely a Final Four or a final level game of what they provided, and all credit to them for that. But yeah, second half, I think, like I said, I think the goal just oddly woke us up a little bit and made us a little bit more stress-free and carefree in our attacking moments.
Justin, take us through that goal. You make the initial save, and then what happened?
It was bizarre, so to speak. You usually don't see deflections like that, where somebody's trying to hit a curled shot and it just hits our defender, pops up, and once it's up there, trying to just read it and determine the hang time is really tough. So I was fortunate enough to get it onto the post, but we just weren't around it to recover and be able to clear the rebound. They were in a good position. They were following it on a rebound, and they scored off that.
Hopkins has more statistics in the second half, more shots, so on and so forth. But a familiar face in a familiar place comes through later on in the second half. What is it about those moments that makes you so effective, Bruno?
That's a hard question. I don't know. It's just like the game is filled with moments, and we had our moments in the second half, and once we got that free kick, I was just talking to, it was me and Dylan Mound, and I told him, I was like, why not? I'm just gonna take a hit. And then sometimes, like, the game is just filled with moments, and sometimes you get lucky, and I just hit it right through the middle of the wall. They opened they parted like the sea a little bit, and it just went in. It was in our favor.
And Coach Koch, in overtime, Johns Hopkins was very clear. They were not playing for PKs. What was the team's strategy in overtime, and then how did you help, or how did the team then respond seeing that Hopkins was really trying to press the action in the extra time?
Yeah, I think for us it was about trying to find moments, but not being reckless with what we were trying to do. I think one of our strengths all year has been the amount of guys that we believe in that can come off the bench in the second group or the third group and give us really good shifts. We had a few guys today that didn't play until one of those overtimes, or guys that had played very little or hadn't been in the squad in a few games or a few days, and so I think for us it's one of those where we trust our guys, and so it was really nice to see a few of those guys step up, and I think in terms of tactics or anything like that, we knew that they were gonna try to overload and create some chances, and so for us it was about picking our moments and being really disciplined defensively, but also having guys higher up the field that we could find as outlets that could create some chances of our own. But really, really proud of the effort, not only in those two overtime periods, but for the full 90 minutes from every single guy, whether they're on the stat sheet or not, that's for sure.
Coach Jordan, Hopkins makes a choice to switch goalkeepers for the shootout. Was that something you thought was on the table, and how did you kind of adjust to that?
It's always a potential. Lots of teams have done it. Con did it last year for the national final. Something that you don't really factor in as much, because you're, to my point last week about our penalties, is just we have to concentrate on what we do. So our preparation for that, what we're going to do, and I mean, just this man beside me here, the level of detail and preparation is incredible when it comes to penalty saves. And there's a guy, you look historically, there's a guy, on the 08 team, Zach Carr, who had a similar trajectory of saving penalties, and it must be biomedical students, something to do with them. But no, I think it doesn't faze us. It's just we have our routine, we do what we do, and again, it's just like I said last week. It is a lottery, but we're just trying to force our luck as much as possible.
Justin, several correct guesses during the shootout that still found the back of the net. Does that get frustrating? You're that close to making a save, or do you kind of just oh well, move on to the next shot?
It's more about focusing on the next shot. Once something happens, you can't go back and change it. I can't rewind and go again. They really executed well on some of their shots, which is difficult to stave. You can only cover so much of the goal. So once that happens, you kind of just have to press the reset button. The way I do that, I just get a drink of water, kind of go, okay, next one, and then that's how I try and refocus for the next penalty.
Bruno, Coach Koch talked about the depth of the team, players 1 through X, everybody contributes, right? And it was Gareth last week with the winner, and it was Dylan and Guardy this week after Gareth scored to kind of put some pressure back on Hopkins. How excited for you to see your teammates that may not necessarily have played today kind of coming through in that clutch spot?
That's kind of like what our team DNA is, like next man in. Like once preparation meets opportunity, that's when players like that shine, like Gareth and Dylan. So just to see that our culture from day one of preseason just kind of shine through into those penalty shootouts, I think that's grade A for the team. Like it makes me very proud to see that we can do that.
Coach Jordan, Final Four, national semifinalist. I believe it's the second time in school history after 08. What does that moment mean for both the program and for Stevens as an institution?
For the student athletes currently, it's everything. But it's the hard work that they put in. A lot of people, not us, forgot about driving back from Boston last year after being on PKs. So I think a lot of guys that moment fueled them to propel them to this moment. So for these student athletes, that's what the experience is all about, to compete as hard as you can and to now go this far. These are memories that last a lifetime. And when we're recruiting guys to Stevens, that's what we talk about. We talk about creating memories, being teammates for life, all those really good positive things. For the school, it's obviously these guys represent the school and incredible ambassadors for the school. It's great to be at that level again when you look at the work that a coach like Tim O'Dea, who's her current head coach in Navy, he brought the program to that level, and I think it's just fitting that we're back to that stage again. The problem with this is obviously consistency. They've done this. The next few years they've got to maintain those standards. But for the moment, I think it's something that the student athletes should be incredibly proud of. Obviously, the student body, the athletics department should be super proud of them. But I mentioned it last week. These guys don't get there without the support. So, incredible field to play on, incredible locker room, soccer balls, top end uniform, so many extras, and we're so thankful and grateful for that we get the opportunity we get to do this. Even the coaching staff, things that we have at our disposal, it's incredible. It's something that allows us and facilitates us to do our job to the best possible, and then to be able to produce that product for the community is absolutely amazing.
And Coach Jordan will close with this one. A superstitious type some head coaches are. With the success the team had this weekend, courtesy of Coach Koch's pregame playlist, will that make the trip for next weekend?
It could. I don't know. We'd have to ask him. There could be additions. But no, I think I didn't hear most of it, and I don't know most of it. I don't know who these artists are, but I'm just going to assume that all the young kids are into it these days. And once the guys like it, that's the most important thing.
Congratulations. Enjoy the victory.
Thank you.